What's up guys, how's it going? Today we are tackling The Legend of Zelda in one life, under 1 hour, with all 9 dungeons in order, without any glitches on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And if you're a fan of challenges like this, be sure to stick around because we did the same thing with Donkey Kong Country and there will be more in the future. So let's talk about this run. Of course, the first thing we do is grab that wooden sword. Can't do much without that. And first and foremost, I have to give all the credit and thanks in the world to one of my fans who's quickly become one of my good friends over the last few months. And that man goes by the name Dog Eyes. If it weren't for all of his patient and rigorous coaching and route work with me, I would have never gotten through a run like this. So thank you Dog Eyes for making this run possible. Now we're making our way to the first dungeon in the game. If you were really trying to save time, you would head to the second one first, but we want to do all 9 in order. So we're going to kill all these bats for our first key. There are a lot of keys and locked doors that don't need to be bothered with in order to get through this game. Knowing exactly where you need to go and what you do and don't have to do saves a ton of time, and that also goes for enemies in certain rooms. There will be plenty of times where we just ignore them completely if we can. So after the key from the bats, we have to get the one from the skeleton, and I know Zelda has their unique enemy names, but we know what these guys are. So we're just going to go past these 3 skeletons, don't need to bother with them. And we just need to kill all of these guys. Time stops are extremely helpful. We actually pick up a few clutch ones in some dangerous situations on this run. The luck is pretty give and take on these. There are definitely times in previous runs where some spots went smoother, and it'd be nice to just show you the best of the best, but this is the completed run under an hour, and that was the overall goal, so there's a lot of things to be happy about with this run too. So these little gumdrop guys, we're just going to walk past them. Sometimes you just have to hope that enemies don't get in your way if you're not required to kill them. We're going up here, and we have to kill these boomerang enemies. It's really nice when you have the sword beams. Sometimes it feels like you get trolled a little bit, just with how annoying that last enemy can be to defeat. Going down the stairs here for this bow that we won't use for several dungeons. And actually get bullied by these bats, which is pretty annoying. Half of my health gone. It's moments like that that make you want to reset, but overall, beating it under an hour, you certainly don't have to be perfect. You just have to know exactly where to go. So, heading down here. Continuing down, going through the locked door on the right. Have to be pretty careful here since I only have half the health and these guys can be quite dangerous. Very fortunate to pick up that heart and finish the job to pick up that boomerang. In this room, it's part of the strategy to get some of these wall masters to come out, and because they're pretty great with their rate at dropping rupees, it's pretty common that they drop the blue rupee that gives you 5. And rupees are very important in this run, since we're moving pretty much as quickly as we can between the main points of the game. In order to be efficient and beat this time requirement, we need to have the proper amount of rupees and bombs, which you'll get to see examples of that soon. So here we are against the first boss in the game. He's overall not too tough. Sword beams of course help, but the run can be pretty fragile when your health is so low. But overall, just trying to stay at a safe distance and not get too careless. We're through our first boss, grabbing the first heart piece and first Triforce piece of the game. So heading to the second dungeon, the bad guys on the overworld can be pretty annoying. They love to spawn right in front of your character, and if you're not careful, your health will get chipped dangerously low. And in a Deathless run, you certainly want to avoid that. So we're making our way far right. This is a rock that we want to blow up, but we haven't gotten a bomb drop yet. In previous runs, we had a couple times where we could use a bomb there, but we have to come back for that in this run. So we're making our way down, getting to the second dungeon, just rolling to it as quickly as we can, while trying to avoid the goblins, otherwise known as moblins, and their arrows, and the octoroks. So we're here in the second dungeon. They have quite a bit of these snakes called ropers. They're usually pretty decent with their drops of rupees and sometimes hearts, which is always nice. So making our way to the left. There's a nice little time stop to go finish them off. And full health. The sword beams are great, but they are very easy to lose. And things can get pretty awkward with their behavior. If you're standing on the crack of a tile, they won't rush towards you. You have to be perfectly flush on the tile for the enemy to recognize you and rush your way. So we're making our way back to the right. And we're going up. Sometimes I get a little confused. It takes me a bit to know the right way to go. And it also takes me a moment to realize that we don't need to kill these guys. So we're moving on, going up. Killing these ropers for this key drop. Moving up. Gotta kill these things. They're not too bad. The awkwardness of the original Zelda, though, just with the sword poke, it's very easy to just barely miss what you're trying to attack. They changed it to a much more forgiving slash animation in the future games. So here's our first bomb drop. A little shortcut going up through this wall. Taking out these little guys since they give us a rupee drop, and we'll see why that's important pretty soon here, because we have some grand sweeps on the overworld where we make several moves as efficient as we can for upgrades and heart containers. A big part of the run is picking up more keys than what you need in some dungeons, that way you carry extras to use later on. We have to kill all these boomerang enemies. It can be pretty dangerous, but going pretty smooth. It's nice with the sword beams, just attack them from the other side safely. Grabbing these bombs. And sometimes I got the quick kill on this guy, where it blows up in his face and you stab him. But if you can't do that, you just have to lay 2 in front of him, and that will defeat him. So I accidentally used 3 bombs on that, which put us in a tighter space than you'd like. But either way, we're done with the second dungeon. Gonna keep rolling ahead, see if we can't get what we need, and just keep the run going. Making our way down the stairs here. Taking a little damage boost to the behind. Moving right. Trying to avoid arrows. Here's our first little secret rupee pickup, which can be pretty annoying. Those statues can be real spazzes and move around and get in your way. Just trying to get through, going left and then up. And here's our second secret for some more rupees. Now we're bombing this wall, picking up another rupee secret. And there's a huge rupee secret coming up here where we pick up 100 of them. It's through this little fake wall that you can find the way and move up through it. Then you grab 100 rupees from this guy. The name of the game on the overworld is you try not to waste time on things you don't have to, but sometimes you have to deal with enemies, otherwise you'll just keep getting chipped away. And we need this in order to grab a very important potion later for our health. That'll help ensure the run stays on track during the hardest parts of it. Going up these stairs and making our way to the left. And Tektites are pretty darn annoying, and the perspective can make it tricky as well, since when they're jumping they can hit Link. It's just kind of awkward, like the perspective from overhead can make it pretty annoying to deal with some enemies. Here's our first shop purchase of the run, getting the blue candle that allows us to see in some dark rooms in dungeons, but it's especially important for burning down bushes on the overworld. It also functions as a decent attack. It's fortunate to get a heart, making our way down. And now we can finally bomb this rock that we would have earlier if we got a bomb drop. And I miss. So I actually put our run offline with that clumsy bomb placement. We have none left. And this will come into play. We have to check to see if we can get drops from some certain enemies. And if we don't get one quickly, then this would have to be a reset. So we're making our way left. And this is just a little trick to move on from that screen faster than normal. And it's not a glitch, it's just how it works. We're on our way to pick up a very important weapon upgrade, the white sword, which doubles our attack. So we're going to stun this guy, move on past him. Moving on down. So easy to lose those sword beams. We get it right back, picking up that heart, getting some rupees, just trying to get through. Oh, of course, get chipped a couple times. It's just how it goes. Tough boulder spawn right there. Tried to move down to make this screen safer. Barely get by. We just continue to round the corner of the beach. As mentioned, we have to use the candle to burn down some bushes. It's very important. We need it to get several secrets, and one of those are right here. $30 more rupees. So I was trying to kill that blue Octorok. We were hoping for bombs right there, but just have to try again in a little bit as we go. There's a few more chances that we have to get those. So we're burning this top bush, getting those 30 rupees. We're making our rounds quick for a big upcoming expense. And then the fifth one over down here is another big secret. We get a heart container. Continuing left here. Moving left. Just trying to think about where are some blue Octoroks, and there's a couple of them over the bridge. Always nice to pick up a heart. Making our way to the left, and here are some enemies that we really hope to get a bomb drop from. We get a fairy, which is awesome. And there's the bomb drop. So now this run is alive again. We can continue. We didn't lose too much time going over there to get those bombs. We're moving right. And we get to use one of those bombs right here, so it's great that we got it to drop when we did. Now we're making our way left for one of the very most important pickups in the entire game. We get the blue ring, or your white tunic. It decreases damage in half, which is fantastic and very helpful. Moving straight up here. This is one of those secret shops. And right there, I didn't even mean to place a bomb, so that was clumsy. Was not a good drop, but anyway, we pay our $250 for this super essential item. Moving our way down here. And moving up to this fairy fountain to get a full refill, which is awesome. And then we're moving on to the third dungeon in the game. Making our way down through this as safely as we can. And here we go into the third dungeon. We actually had a run that we had to reset because that room was all glitched out. We are playing on an original NES, so we're very happy to see that it looks totally fine and we can continue. So I have to kill all these blobs and get that key. And these 3 dark nuts. So dark nuts are really annoying. They are one of the more difficult enemies in the game. Blue dark nuts are the worst, a bit faster, more health, do more damage. And the whiz robes, which we will see in level 6, or the 6th dungeon. Just gonna pick up those rupees, because there are a couple more key items that we need to make sure we can afford when the time comes to it. Trying to kill these bats for another bomb drop. Just picking up this key and trying to exit the room downward. And this is a room where all the dark nuts need to die. You can't damage them directly facing them because of their shield. And it's tough because they can just turn whenever. Their behavior is really quite unpredictable. And some of it seems quite cheap because you'll get into position to attack and then they'll immediately face you and you'll get blocked. And it's difficult because they don't bounce off of your attack either, so they're just right in your space. We're not grabbing those bombs since we're already at the max capacity of 8. And fortunately we don't have to kill these guys, we just have to make our way safely to the stairs as we can find a route. We're grabbing this raft that we will need to use in order to reach level 4, and a different secret in the game for another heart container. So moving up and then to the right, and just trying to make our way to the right through this room. And just have to bomb this wall on the right while trying to not take damage. Making our way past these dark nuts, just going up. Another bomb placement here. Exiting through the right. This is a boss that can be really quite annoying if you don't get it in one shot. And we had plenty of runs. We had a few runs where I got it in one, and This run I did not, so this is where things get pretty messy. He's moving all around, trying to do the best with that placement. Very fortunate to get him with that one, picking up the third Triforce piece and moving on to the fourth dungeon in the game. And on the way we will be picking up another key item, which we can't afford quite yet, but we will be able to shortly with some more rupee locations. Just trying to move on through. We're not too far from another secret rupee location. And on this screen, it's the top bush of that wall, separating the two halves of the screen. It's another big secret though, 100 rupees for that one. And we have another secret, this bottom right bush, burning with the candle, which is a quick 10, so not nearly as much of a payday, but still helpful. Continuing over to our right. And past these guys, just going to the right. We're making our way up to that secret shop under that statue. And now we're grabbing this piece of meat, which we will need in a few levels. So we're making our way over to level 4. As we can see, there's that green ramp over there that we will be using the raft on. And here we go into the 4th dungeon. And as usual, there's going to be at least a handful of rooms where we don't really need to kill the enemies. We'll try to just run by them as quickly as we can. In this room I started to kill all the enemies as if that's what you have to do, but you definitely don't. You just gotta move up out of the room. And in this next room we just need to grab the key. Making our way to the right through this locked door. And we have to defeat all of these enemies for that door to open on the right. Just totally miss them, but trying to play it safe. These like electric looking balls, they're just the worst. Luckily they don't cause any damage, but they disallow Link to use his sword for a few seconds. So they're used in some of the very worst rooms in the entire game. And this one isn't that bad, but when they're used later with some really hard enemies, you'll definitely see it, and it's awful. But we've got that ladder here that lets us cross 1 square gaps. Helps in multiple ways during the levels, in the dungeons, and on the overworld. Examples like this where you can just walk across in a much straighter, direct path. Moving up through this locked door and to the right. And we're actually bombing this wall on the top here. And this is a nice secret. Get some rupees, and we exit through the right wall. Have to defeat all these enemies so we can push that left block to move on. And I just have a little brain fart, start pushing on the wrong block, trying to line it up properly on the left one. And this is one of the tougher enemy designs in the whole game. I try to make it pretty decent with the sword beam, till finally getting chipped. But happy to get through that without much damage at all. Decently quick fight. So we're through level 4 and on to the 5th. So we're making our way down to the right and down, and we're going to grab our candle, make our way over here past this very familiar screen, and on this bottom right of this square there's another secret for us. This lady will sell us this potion, which can fill up your health twice. We're pulling out the bombs, making our way to the right. Blue Tektite's pretty annoying. Just happy to pick up a heart. And this wall right here will give us another heart container. We're going to make our way all the way to the right in a little bit. First we're going to burn this bush. So we're going to burn this bush and then make our way to the east coast and go all the way up it. But another huge secret, 100 rupees for that bush. Extremely helpful. So we're going down to the right, and we'll be on the coast for a little bit here. Just trying to get past some annoying enemies that just love to get in the way. We're making our way into this cave, and we're buying this arrow. We got the bow in the first level. Now we're finally picking up the arrow, because we'll be using that for a boss soon. You get to use this step ladder for that heart container. Getting pushed around by these Octoroks. And here's that secret we can use the raft for to get this extra heart container. And now we're making our way to level 5 at the very top of the map. It was really great to get that bomb drop right there, because we did not have any left, so that's useful. Making our way up the stairs, going left. And this is a familiar screen that would be burned into your memory. If you've played this before, you have to go up 4 times past the same screen in order to access level 5. Just getting blocked by that guy, but it's alright. Didn't even show any damage. Going up here. And we actually start off by bombing that left wall. We'll be coming back for these mummies and that key that the one is holding. And we want the bomb that one of them's holding right here. And we're bombing that left wall and just trying to get out of here. So the blue dark nuts are some of the worst and most annoying enemies in the game. And right now with the sword we have, it takes 4 hits to kill them. And sometimes they can make that really difficult to get those in. You have to try to just attack their side the best you can. Try not to get bullied between a bunch of them. Something you don't want to take too long to do, but you can't be careless. So you're being careful as fast as you can. And that was really excellent to get that fairy right there, because we do have some more difficult rooms in level 5. I'm going to push this block aside, head on down these stairs. We're using a key to go through the left door. And another room of dark nuts. So got to be really careful, make good use of the space you have around you. Try to get little pokes in any opportunity that they show to you. And I placed a bomb to get some damage, but really it makes sense to be pretty conservative with those. Trying to get little stabs in and whittle them down while being ready to turn and run away just in case they head your direction, which they can do without any notice. Nice heart drop to finish off that group, pushing this block and going to grab this whistle. You may recognize it from Super Mario Bros. 3, although it did appear here first, to be fair. But anyway, this is required for an upcoming boss fight and allows you to traverse from dungeon to dungeon on the overworld, and we'll see how that works as soon as we're heading to level 6. Making our way back down these stairs, pushing the block. And we're going back through this blown up wall. Just making our way right, avoiding these mummies. Now we do want to kill that mummy with the key. Taking them all out actually in this room in order to make our way upward. And it was really nice to get that bomb drop from that guy. And those are 3 of the level 2 bosses, Dodongo. We're just going to ignore all 3 of them, which is great for our bomb count and our time. Really useful to know what you can just avoid. Speaking of that, just going to make our way past these 5 mummies. Three dark nuts, we don't even need to fight them. And we can ignore all these guys too, which is nice. And we're just making our way to the left, past all these mummies. And we get to avoid all of these guys as well. So, just lots of time to save when you don't, or fight creatures you don't need to. We're actually going to drop this bomb for a really cool little technique here, where you blow the whistle so he becomes vulnerable, and then the bomb puts on some damage on his vulnerable form. Get a couple pokes in to finish him off. There's the heart container, and 5th piece of the Triforce. And level 6, debatably the hardest one, especially for when you reach it at this point in your adventure. Fortunately, we're stacking Link up to such a point where we can pick up the magical sword, which again doubles our attack. If you don't have that in level 6, this is an incredibly difficult game to get through. So we're making our way down to the left. And now upward. Going straight up. These are the Lost Woods, so some more cryptic design. You have to go the right direction for like 4 screens in a row in order to get the screen to move on to the left of the map. Ignore all those centaurs, otherwise known as Lionels. Moving up these stairs, and we're in the graveyard. We're heading right to the tombstone with our last sword upgrade. You have to push this thing up, and here we go. The last sword in the game. And we are heading to level 6, which is right over here, just up these stairs. So we're heading left through this locked door. And past these Wizrobes, we don't even need to bother with those. We don't need to even kill these blobs, we're just moving on. But this is a pretty annoying room. Fortunately, the enemies are easy, but the having all of them fly around with all those orbs can be kind of annoying. But it's nothing compared to some of the Wizrobe rooms in this dungeon. And we're coming up on one right now. So the orange Wizrobes, fortunately, you can take them out with one hit with this sword. And the time drop was amazing luck here. The Wizrobes do crazy damage even with your white tunic. It can hit you multiple times in a row. Things can get so bad so quickly. And we're actually placing a bomb on the right wall and just trying to leave. Very fortunate to not get hit by any of those guys. We're grabbing this key and just trying to leave without taking too much abuse. We just have to kill these guys who are a total breeze compared to the Wizrobes. And we have to kill all these enemies. It's another one of the most annoying rooms. Getting bumped around by that orb, just preventing us from pulling out our sword when we need it. Just getting abused. And the luckiest time stop right there. And a fairy. So that was incredible luck. I've had some bad level 6s, and I actually had one really good level 6 where I had the beam sword almost the whole time. But we'll take it. This time it wasn't going that smooth, but got the time stop, so that really made up for it. Really lucky. And we're grabbing that heart and just making our way down. And we're just killing these guys in order to grab this key. Honestly, I got a bit distracted here. I think I looked down and saw a notification or message. But anyway, we're making our way to the left. Pulling out the arrow. Being really sloppy, getting hit by things I did not need to get hit by. But we're walking through the doorway, mashing B to use the arrow as quickly as possible, and hit Goma while the eye's still open, and just like that, we're through level 6. And things start to roll downhill in a hurry, you could say. This game gets kind of downhill with its momentum since we have this whistle, or flute. It's used by facing right or down to move further along in progression, or if you want to go backward, you face up or left. So we just have to blow it a couple times to get to level 3, because that's a good location to make our way to level 7. We need to use this flute up here at this fountain. Next to us on the right, we refilled earlier at the fairy fountain. Over here on the left is level 7 when you play that flute. So we hit the stairs, making our way up through this dungeon. We're trying to avoid these blue boomerang enemies. We're bombing the top wall. And again, just trying to run through a bunch of boomerang enemies we don't need to fight. And here's a room that can be annoying with those orbs. Get a really lucky fairy drop. Extremely fortunate. So just trying to not get too careless, taking out these guys. Making our way upward. And we actually can avoid this enemy. The temptation is to fight it because it looks so important, but you don't actually need to do that at all. And we're avoiding all these boomerang enemies and moving up to this guy that you need to give this piece of meat to move on. Pretty odd obstacle to stop you from saving the world, but it's a key item and you need it to move on. I'm just moving all past these enemies, moving on to the right, and we need our bombs out. Because this wall on the right, if we can get to it here as safely as we can, just trying to get out of here without too much damage. We don't need to kill these guys, we're just trying to get to the right wall. Get another 4 bombs here, which is always nice. And once again, don't need to kill these guys, just trying to go through the right wall. We do have to fight this guy in order to get that door up there to unlock. We do hit it with the bomb. Couple stabs of the remaining pieces. And we're through that. And we can avoid these dodongos again. We do not need to fight these guys. We're just blowing up the right wall. And in this room, we actually need to kill some of these wall masters, which you need to touch the wall in order for these hands to come out. And at least they're so much easier with the better sword. We just gotta be really careful not to get grabbed by them. Don't want to start the dungeon over. So once enough of those guys are defeated, I think you kill 5 of them, then you can push that block and go to those stairs. And in this room, just trying to make our way to the right wall, which I accidentally throw a boomerang instead of placing a bomb. I think I make a couple mistakes like that on this run, just using the wrong item. And this is a repeat of the first boss in the game, and we have such a stronger sword now, it just takes 2 stabs, we're done with him, pick up the heart container, and that is the 7th Triforce piece. And we're going to move on and roll right to the 8th and 9th as fast as we can. That's all we're doing. We're almost as upgraded as we get at this point in the game. The last increase to our armor is actually in level 9. We only have 1 more heart container to grab too. But for the most part, we're about as strong as we get. But even still, there are some dangerous rooms and enemies, which is why it was important for us to get this potion, just to make sure this was a safe run. And we're making our way. So we have to burn this bush at the end with the candle. Making our way into level 8. We just need to move up. We can avoid the level 3's boss. Here's one of the more annoying rooms in the game. These blue dark nuts with these orbs going everywhere, making the NES slow down. It's pretty annoying for sure. You need a unique rhythm and have to somehow keep an eye on just about everything. We get really lucky and have a fairy pop out, which is awesome. So trying to use the sword beams before just about inevitably getting hit again. We get really lucky with another drop, so get the sword beam, but hit again. Lose the sword beam, but that's fine. So we didn't take really much damage at all. And we're just trying to avoid everybody here, making our way up through this locked door. But this is another tough room with a bunch of dark nuts and more orbs. So things can get so sloppy in a hurry. But at least we have the best sword in the game. So now these guys only take 2 hits. Even still, it's annoying. We get really lucky with a fairy drop, like just incredibly lucky. Even though we were only down 2 hearts, we get the beam swords back, which aren't likely to last long. And things get kind of sloppy here. I just keep barely missing them. Just trying to track them down to get out of this room. Overall, got really fortunate with the fairy and the heart drops. And in this room, we do want to kill everybody in order to get a bomb drop. But one of the enemies actually drops a bomb, so we will just move on. We do not need to kill those guys. And we're trying to get past these dudes and bomb the upper wall. We don't even need the key, don't need to kill them to go through the locked door. We bomb up to get to this boss, Gleeok, and it's this dragon with double the heads now. So there's 4, but we just keep stabbing through them with the best sword in the game. Now we can grab the final heart container and the 8th Triforce piece in the game, go into the last one to face off with Ganon. There's a fair amount of things in this game that we didn't get, even though we get all the heart containers because they're so helpful. We don't get things like the magical boomerang or the magical wand. There's just things that are unnecessary, even if they are helpful and cool in a traditional playthrough. Making our way to the left with this ladder helps us cross that gap. And going up the mountainside here. And just trying to make it past these centaurs. They're pretty damaging, punishing enemies, so... And plus there's no incentive to kill them right now. We're just trying to get to the last level in the game. Bomb this rock over here on the left, and we are into level 9. And this is the room where it would stop you if you didn't have the other 8 levels completed. And we're bombing this wall on the left, just ignoring the enemies if we can. Trying to kill these guys. They move around quickly though and do some good damage, so they're pretty dangerous if they are rolling right through you. Fortunate to get a little heart drop there. Pushing this block and making our way down the stairs. And just taking out these annoying guys. Another thing we didn't pick up was the magical shield, the huge one. Super annoying feature that all Zelda players know. Those likes, they take that from you, and that's an expensive item, so That's super infuriating. But you'd use that to block the magic from Wizrobes. But we're just trying to brute force through them, but really be as careful as we can, but they can just be so annoying. For real. They get so cheap with how they move around and how they target you, but that was actually my fault because we don't even need to fight those. I just was having a moment there. We don't fight that guy yet. We make our way down and use the bomb here. We don't need to fight this guy. We just need to bomb this top wall, and it barely reaches it, which is great, but we don't need to fight that guy. And this is a dangerous room, and I get pretty nervous. I'm getting ready just to use the potion because it's not worth having a run die at this point, so just going to go ahead and use it, and you get to use it twice, so we're using it for the first time here just to make sure the run's not ended at this point. For a second there, I didn't even know where I was. I didn't realize, I thought I disappeared or something, but the like he was holding me, so. While I was mashing, I accidentally dropped a bomb, but we're very lucky to get a bomb drop right after doing that, which was pretty crazy. Now we're in this room with a bunch of Wizrobes and these horrible orbs that stop you from using your sword. My main priority is just trying to be as careful as I can, but taking out those orange Wizrobes because they're one hit. And then you can really focus on these blue guys that are much more mobile. And really happy to get through those guys without too much abuse or interference from those orbs. And we're grabbing this red ring, which is fantastic. Gives us the color palette of the original Super Mario, which just looks awesome. But anyway, the main function is that it cuts damage in half again. So we're taking a quarter of damage as normal. But they're still really hard-hitting enemies here. But anyway, we're making our way past that like mini boss type of creature, going through this blown up wall, making our way up. And we do have to kill this guy. Or it seems like you have to take him out when he's in the way, but if he gets out of the way, you can just go to the door. He's quite damaging. Do need to deal with these Wizrobes, so happy to knock out the two orange ones first. Very fortunate with that fairy pickup. Get hit a couple times while trying to get it, but either way, it worked out. It basically gave all the health that I used in that room, so that was really nice. And making our way to this staircase over here. And in this room, just going through the left locked door. Just making our way through this room. And we do have to kill this guy. So I'm trying to place myself at the perfect part of its perimeter. And on a side note, I really love how cool the orbiting enemies look. It appears like pseudo 3D. But anyway, I was just trying to get in a decent position to stab this guy. He was a little awkward when he was over the blocks. But we picked up the key, pushing the block, going down the stairs. And here's a room with some Wizrobes. Really happy to get through the orange with the one stab. Very happy to get through another blue one. That was very quick work of some tough enemies. But the next thing we're doing here is bombing the top wall. And this is an extremely annoying room right here. It's actually a really bad mistake, I think, to go behind the blocks, and I make that mistake here. I do get one of the orange guys pretty quick, but at this point you're kind of trapped. You're just like down an alley from these Wizrobes that just light you up like crazy. get to take out the orange and grab a stopwatch, which is nice, just to get to run over here, finish off the last blue Wizrobe, and push this block right here, go down the stairs. This is the arrow that we need to defeat Ganon. And making our way downward, going back down this staircase. And going up, just need to avoid these likes, so just sneaking on by there. And fortunate to not get clipped there, but either way. Some annoying enemies here. Get a bomb drop from the Wizrobe. Don't even have to kill him, just need to bomb the wall on the left. Do have to kill these guys, but get really lucky with a time stop there. Just more assurance that this run is going well and things are pretty safe. Push the block, pick up a heart for good measure, get that thing out of the way, go down the stairs. And we're in one more annoying room here. Just need to bomb the wall on the left without taking too much abuse. And in this room we do need to kill everyone, just need to not get hit by those orbs and try to finish it off quickly. Pushing the block, making our way down the stairs. And here we go with another one of these mini bosses. Super cool effect. It looks like 3D, but I was taking a lot of abuse on this guy, so that wasn't good. But at least we have that potion left. Making our way upward to Ganon, the last fight in the game. You can't see him, so you're just trying to make contact with him. Some people have this fight completely down, and I do not. And I'm keeping an eye on my health. If it gets too low, I'm going to pull out that potion. That's a third hit, though, so he's almost done. And after taking that hit, I'm just going to go ahead and refill, even though it takes several seconds. Don't want to lose the run like this against Ganon. At least there's plenty of time to finish, about a minute or so. Just need him to show up again. There he is, busting out the light arrow. And sending him to hell. Grabbing the last Triforce. And making our way to Zelda. Rescuing our princess, our queen. Thanks, Link. You're the hero of Hyrule. Well, yay. Well, hope you guys had fun. Finally, peace returns to Hyrule. This ends the story. In case you were wondering, this does end the story. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. If you want to see more, be sure to check out the Donkey Kong Country, 1 Hour, 1 Life. There's tons of other challenges on the channel. What'd you guys think? Let me know your Zelda memories, any requests in the future, and hope you have an awesome rest of your day.